So, Mark actually told a couple stories that I was going to tell, possibly, but there's no way I would have said it as good as him, so you lucked out. He told them nothing. He's a better storyteller than me. So, my pop, man, we called him all kinds of different names. We called him Pop, we called him Dad, you know, but
old man.
you know, but to me, he was Pop. And I want to say, you know, he had mentioned about Kathleen, the biological, that gave us life, and then there's our mom, and that's my mom. And
Our mama.
that's mom. That's mom. I mean, the greatest thing that my father ever personally did for me was give me mom. And my dad was, some people are a lump of coal. That was my dad. And by the time mom was done, you know, she had turned this lump of coal into a diamond, and she finished raising him. Most of us clients need to be finished raising. I found someone, she's doing a good job with me. I think Vicky's kind of helped you. So my dad was probably maybe the funniest man that I've ever met in my entire life. He would have me belly laugh, just laughing to where my stomach would have sore muscles. And you can't tell anymore, but I used to be an athlete, so I had good stomach muscles at one time, you know, and now I'm in my third trimester. But my father, like Mark had said, would just make a joke about everything, and I think I irritate people sometimes because I tell so many jokes, and I turn a moment that's not a joking moment, and I tell a joke. That's Dad. That's some of his genes. Genes are very strong, if you can't tell. So, but my father was the kind of guy who would Animal House. I was there too. I was kindergarten. You know, I was pretty young when we went to Animal House, and yeah, Mom was upset, and I remember one time when I was a kid, I was so scared. Oftentimes I was scared. I was really scared to do certain things, and one time my dad just told me to take off my floaties, and he ripped them off my arms, and he grabbed me and he threw me in the pool because he wanted me to learn how to swim. So I swam so fast, I was like Michael Phelps all the way to the edge. I jump out, I don't even look back, and I sprint, and I run into the trailer, and I'm like, we were in a mobile home, and I'm like, Mom, help, Dad's trying to kill me. And I meant it. I thought I was gonna drown, but I swam, and then everyone had to, like, you know, Brad, Mark, and Dad had to corner me and say, "See, you can swim. That's why he wasn't trying to kill you. He's just trying to show you that you can swim, you can do it, but you wouldn't do it." And so yeah, my dad threw me in the pool, and then
No, your dad taught you how to swim.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good one, and. Yeah, and there was some good times that we had in that trailer park. So I lived with my biological. I don't have hatred for the woman, but she's not my mother. This is my mother, so I just call her. I don't even like to call her the M word. This is my mother right here. I came out of her, as far as I'm concerned. I love you. And so when, gosh, I'm losing my train of thought now.
That's why I wrote it down.
Yeah. What would you say?
Swimming.
Oh, that was.
And just
the
good times.
good times we had. I remember when we moved to Eucalyptus Hills, I was jealous of the kids. Like, we had this nice house on an acre, and I'm like, I was jealous of the kids that lived in apartments, not realizing how good I had it, you know? Like, there was all these kids could play and stuff, and sometimes sometimes I would have friends over. This is my friend Vince. This was my best friend growing up, you know, and his wife Jana, and who I wish would make a baby, but I don't know what.
I don't know what they're waiting for.
Yeah, right. You got plans after this. Maybe you guys can figure it out. But I loved growing up in that house, and when Vince would come over, my father would entertain Vince. He would, whoever it was, he was always entertaining. Is there anyone here that wasn't entertained by my father at some point, right? All of us were always entertained. It was like the show must go on no matter what. And I have so many stories about my father that I can't tell you. Because my dad was that out there, but it was so fun to grow up with that kind of father. Some people would shelter their kids. None of us were sheltered. And as much as mom would try to shelter us, right? Dad would be like, hey, come over here, you know, we're gonna have some fun today, you know, and when mom wasn't around, dad was a character. So my father saw to it that we were entertained, we were gonna have fun. I remember him always doing what he said. As a kid, if we were gonna go to a Padre game, Chargers game, he wasn't the kind of dad that would cancel, right? We're gonna go there. I always could count on my dad to make sure that he was gonna take us and do what he said, you know, unless something just came about where we couldn't make it for whatever reason. He never was that dad. Even though he worked and he worked overtime and he worked so hard to put a roof over our head, he never, ever just said, you know what, I'm just tired, we're not gonna go. He always did what he said he was gonna do, and I love that about my father. He wasn't perfect. Everybody here knows I have a past, and I made some bad decisions, but the first 10 years of my life, I was raised by Kathleen, and I got to go on visits, but in that first 10 years, you're who you're gonna be for the most part. You get those bad habits, you get stuff, and so all of the damage that I had, my mom and dad didn't really know how to deal with that. They tried, they did their best, but the one thing that they were perfect parents about, every day, this woman right here and my father, I don't care what I did, what kind of trouble, I was forced to hug them and kiss them, and it don't matter. Like, you can't, no matter how mad you are, we had a rule in our house, remember that? There's no going to bed without saying, I love you, and a hug and a kiss goodnight.
And Dad kissed on the lips.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
I thought it was just flirty, but
Yeah.
it was guys too. So.
Yeah, my dad was 79 years old the last time I kissed him on the lips. We never stopped doing it.
The only man I've kissed on the lips.
Oh! I got pictures to prove that is not true.
Let John go.
So with all of the damage that was, you know, caused in he tried so hard. He tried spankings. He tried restrictions. He tried so many. My wife and I went on a
Waterboard.
yeah, dude, that might have worked. My wife and I went on a motorcycle ride, you know, and I wanted to show her where I grew up. I showed her my bedroom window. I'm like, baby, that's where my prison terms first started. You know, and but I gotta say, who I am today when I look in the mirror is a direct result of my father hugging me, loving me, kissing me on the lips, telling me he loves me, and meaning it. My mom, same, and watching the job that she did, taking my dad and polishing that diamond, like I said, it had a huge impact on us boys, all of us. Just so the fact that he spent 45 years, was it 45 years?
44.
44 years with my mother, and we all got to be a family. Saved me. Saved me from becoming just a cold-hearted, and I was for a while, but when that love is there, just like when you raise a kid in the church, and they drift away, they're gonna come back. You raise a kid right, and unfortunately, I didn't have that upbringing. I was already, like I said, these guys had it far better than me because they were there with them from the start, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that we all had that love, though, in that house. We had so much love in our house. No matter what was done, no matter how the parenting went down, my folks were so loving towards us that we all have big hearts. Every one of us. Every last one of us have a huge heart. And so, I feel like I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a break and just say that I really love my father. He was a great man. And if you see something in me that you like or you love, it most likely came from him. So, thank you.
Good job.